Hello, 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 beautiful people. Hello. Hope you're having an amazing, amazing day so far. I'm yours truly, Isabel Bedell from Billionairette, and I'm so excited to be reading with you today. We have a very, very important chapter. We have chapter 6, The Art of Selective Communication from Big Money Energy. And this particular book has been really, really awesome. It's fun to read. You feel the energy of Ryan Serhant. If you haven't checked him out, make sure to check him out on Instagram, on YouTube. He has an awesome YouTube channel. And he's just an overall really great, funny guy. So if you're looking to have a good laugh, if you're looking to learn about real estate, if you're looking to learn about, different what's happening in the world, he's your guy. He's really, really good with providing really valuable information, money, investing, billionaires, because he's sold over $1 billion worth of real estate already, and he's building a massive company. So, I mean, I love his transformation. I love him. I love his story. And this book has been really awesome. And I'm so excited to actually read this chapter, The Art of Selective Communication, because I think this is a topic that, especially in online, especially if you're, into DMing people, if you're doing lead generation, if you're writing copy for your emails, if you're, speaking to people on the phone, if you are looking to make something happen, this art is a science and it has its art. And if you're able to put those two together and marry them, you can have some really amazing magic happen. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay. Chapter 6, The Art of Selective Communication. Starts off with saying, I met Sebastian, aka the International Man of Mystery, when I sold him a $17 million apartment after 6 years of follow-up with no response. Till death do I stop following up. Now, Sebastian was ready to add a trophy property to his real estate portfolio, a Hamptons estate. The purchase of his Hamptons house would prove equally tricky. Many times when a deal falls apart, it's due to a breakdown in communication. There isn't enough of it. People aren't talking. This deal was different. It only worked because there was a certain piece of information I kept close to my chest after careful consideration. I knew my client wanted this house, and I certainly wanted my commission, but this piece of information was so absurd, I knew sharing it would unleash a battle of egos unlike anything I had ever seen. It had to be handled with kid gloves or billionaire gloves. You see, the Hamptons technically consist of a bunch of beach towns on the southeastern shore of Long Island, but this isn't your typical beach vacay town. In the Hamptons, if you pop up for a froyo with chocolate-covered gummy bears, you may be standing in line in front of Rihanna. And, oh, is that Jerry Seinfeld getting coffee? Well, yes, it is. The Hamptons is the 90210 of beach vacation spots on the East Coast. It's where celebrities and the ultra-wealthy flock to enjoy the sandy beaches, attend A-list parties, and wait in very, very long lines to eat at restaurants, even though they have a chef's kitchen with an actual chef in it at home. As a result of all this super exclusive summer fun, a charming little cottage in the Hamptons is going to cost you several $1,000,000. But Sebastian wasn't looking for a cottage. He wanted a full-on oceanfront estate with water views from the master bedroom, a gym, an infinity pool, enough bedrooms to house a basketball team, plus a guest house, a screening room, and another outdoor screening room. His budget for this palace of summer wonder, well, it's about 30 million. The International Man of Mystery is very busy using his big money energy to earn hundreds of millions of dollars. So he hired me because A, I'm the best. And B, he trusts me after working together for 8 years. I took a helicopter out to the Hamptons for the afternoon so I could show Sebastian some of the most exclusive properties in the world. Over FaceTime. Sebastian fell for house number 3, an off-market estate with 100 feet of private and perfect beachfront. The 8,000 square foot interior had recently been renovated to look like a palace. The 6,000 square feet of outdoor deck space spread across 3 levels had extraordinary views, and if Sebastian got hungry while staring at his enviable view or watching his massive outdoor hurricane-proof TV, it was no big deal because there was also a pizza oven. This property was quietly asking for $50 million. The other property Sebastian had rejected for not having fireplaces big enough to roast a woolly mammoth, or, garages that could adequately house his vintage car collection, were in the $25 to $35 million range. So naturally, we offered $28 million for the $50 million house. No response. We upped it to $30 million, the top of his budget. He told me. No response. Okay, well, how about 32 million? What's another $2? Now they're listening. But we weren't singing the same song quite yet. We were still $18 million apart after all, and the house wasn't even on the market. After months of negotiations, I got a call from the seller's broker. They aren't going below 40 million. That's 10 million off. Here's the thing. They will sell the house and include every single light in it. 40 million was still a lot higher than Sebastian wanted to pay. That's a huge price tag, even if you're international man of mystery. But with everything in it, the house was perfectly designed. Sebastian wouldn't have to spend any money there. And I did a quick calculation in my head. How much does a billionaire spend on furnishings? Well, you could spend about $1 million per room easily if you add up the custom beds, handmade carpets, built-ins, window treatments, gold ceilings, and fountains. I'm not kidding. I caught Sebastian on the phone right before he was about to fly off to Kentucky to buy a pair of purebred racehorses. Listen, it's 40 million. I know that's more than you wanted to spend, but here's the thing. It will be fully furnished, and I know your time is very valuable to you, so you won't have to spend a second thinking about decorating it. The house is perfectly renovated. It comes with everything from wine glasses to sofas to llama hair, stair, runners. So really, it's like you're spending 40 million on the house and getting everything in it for free. That's a $10 million in savings, not to mention the cost of your time and effort. So there you go. The perfect beachfront mansion, net to you 30 million, just like you asked for. When you're a closer, you know the math can be subjective. So Sebastian got quiet. Here's code number 9. If you want to convince someone to spend more, never focus on the money, focus on the value. He either hated this idea or he was busy doing something else, like signing an agreement to buy a small country. Then he spoke. Fine. Here's the thing about billionaires. They're very rarely excited about money. They have so much of it. But he wanted this house and I was delivering it to him. So begrudgingly, we had a deal. And this is where the communication portion of the story got interesting. Sometimes earning money requires incredibly careful communication. In this case, I felt like I was operating an FBI sting. Here it goes. Kill highly contagious problems or die. Let me repeat that again. Kill highly contagious problems or die. One of the biggest secrets to earning money is learning to identify and eradicate problems that have a potential to infect your entire deal. Enter the parts of my job you will never, ever see on any of my Bravo or my vlogs on YouTube. The excitement of land easements, the thrill that is a certificate of occupancy, I'm telling you, a lot of my job is a real grind. There's so much behind the scenes going on back and forth before a deal is closed. At last, the final version of the contract for Sebastian's Hampton's house has arrived. We are so close to closing this deal, and I am so close to getting a very large commission check, but then my stomach drops. Surprise, bitch! There's a rider attachment to the contract. All right. The rider to clause number 16. The following items are excluded from the sale. 1, television in the second living room. 2, rug in guest house. And 3, blanket in den. Oh, shit. I shout across the office. My voice is so loud. I'm sure everyone on the street 6 floors below me can hear me. Yolanda, do not send the rider to Sebastian. I couldn't picture exactly what would happen if Sebastian saw this rider. He'd drop whatever he was doing, pick up the phone, and say in his super calm, cool voice, Ryan, sure, they can keep their TV and rug and their little blanket. Then add, and I'll keep my 40 million. Click! I was not going to lose this huge deal I had been working on for months over a damn rug. I called the seller's broker right away before this problem could kill everything about this deal in its path. Are you serious? You sell my client the house with everything in it, and you're now taking stuff back. I don't care how small the items are. It's the idea that you're retrading on us that will kill this deal. We are giving you $40 million in cash. Your client doesn't get to go shopping in the house he's selling to my client. The broker told me he'd see what he can do. I knew he didn't want to lose this deal either. He called me back a few minutes later. Okay, they'll concede on everything except the blanket. They are now willing to give up the blanket. What? Was this blanket woven from unicorn fur? Like, did it possess magical powers? Listen, I'll buy them a new blanket. Can you get me the details on the blanket and I'll find the exact same one? Or do they want a better blanket? I'll get them a quilt made by the Amish. I'll do whatever they want. What's their fantasy blanket? I could not believe this huge deal was coming down to a rich guy's blankie. It's like we were dealing with toddlers. There was a pause on the phone. Ryan, I'm afraid this specific blanket has sentimental value. They must have the blanket. Was this a joke? How was this happening? How would I possibly explain this to Sebastian? Here's code number 10, y'all. Okay? When a client hits you with a crazy demand, no, it's never about the money. It's about establishing control. It's about establishing control. Here's one thing I've learned. All seemingly innocent problems can fester, infecting everything in their path and eventually killing an entire deal. This was no ordinary blanket. I saw it for what it was, a highly contagious problem. These sorts of little problems have to be stopped in their tracks, or they can slowly and painfully suck the life right out of you, your deal, your income. And if you were to agree to give them their blanket, it would feed their greed and their demands would start to grow. A highly contagious problem begins with a few interesting symptoms. Here it is. 1, reluctance. The person is reluctant to let go. Sure, I'll sell you my beloved bicycle, but I really want to keep the seats and the handlebars. Hope you understand. 2, reaction. The person has an irrational reaction to a normal request. This reaction is a warning sign of other extreme reactions to come if these symptoms aren't treated. Why are you insisting that I sell you a bike with the seat and handlebars? Can't you just be happy with a partial bike that you can't even ride? Retraction. The person is ready to give up the deal. The symptom is hard to cure. The person will continually find a way to back out of the deal and waste your time. You'll never see that paycheck. I knew that if I wanted to save the deal, it was such a huge deal. I needed to put a stop to this problem immediately. If you learn to identify and treat a highly infectious problem quickly, you will close deals faster and make more money. If I didn't put my foot down, I knew the problem would spread and things would get totally ridiculous. Well, we really love the door knocker and it's very special to us, so we must keep the door knocker. Yeah, and who knew where it all would stop, right? The kitchen towels, a bathtub. Where did the deal finally die? In a fight about an oven mitt after months of suffering? I wasn't going to let this blanket kill my commission and my soul. So if not handled carefully, a highly contagious problem represents the moment when a deal starts to die. Deals that die do not bring you any money. To squash it, you have to dish out the cure. The 3 C's: calm, control, and conviction. It's kind of like what we've been studying, the laws. Calm, cool, conviction. This one is calm, control, and conviction. Here goes calm. People with big money energy know that calm equals power. When I saw the writer in Sebastian's contract, I was not calm. Just ask Yolanda, my director of operations, or any person walking along Broadway between Houston and Prince and Soho that day. It's possible I was crying on the inside, a little / a lot, okay? But if you want to eradicate a highly contagious problem, take a long breath before you take your next step. Concentrate on the picture you want to present to the other side. Do you want to yell and scream like a maniac? Trust me, that will not contain the infection. It will feed it. To prevail, you need to come off as so calm and so collected that there is no weakness for the highly contagious problem to grab onto, which will only increase its power, by the way. So calm equals being in charge. Make sure your thoughts are clear to you first. Make a decision and then clearly relay your expectations. It's the only way to stay strong and rid yourself of a highly contagious problem. Here's control. People with big money energy are not afraid to set boundaries. I knew that if I didn't take control of the situation, the seller's desire for the blanket would turn into the need to keep the toaster. It would spiral out of my control, and I'd be dealing with weird requests for the rest of my life and never get paid. To contain the infection, I needed to establish a no-go zone. In this case, the interior of the house was a no-go zone. It was the one area of the negotiations where we would not move because this deal point had been agreed upon by both parties earlier. This can be painful to the other party, but you got to stick your guns. But I love my blanket. I'll die without it, they might say, crying crocodile tears. However, you can offer a bit of pain relief to keep the deal healthy. If you are a graphic designer and your client is saying, your fee only entitles me to 3 designs for the labels of my homemade cat food, I want 5. Cats are special, and I want sketches of all my cats. Can you make them birthday cards too? And we've all been there. More than 3 designs may be your no-go zone, but perhaps you can offer them something else in your terms. My fee entitles you to 3 designs, but yes, cats are the best, and I will also create an adorable cat sticker that you can include with all your shipments of homemade organic cat food. People with BME set boundaries to contain problems. Agree. Set your rules. And here's conviction, okay? Conviction is the final but essential weapon in the fight to the death against the highly contagious problem. You will not stand a chance against the problem if you don't address it firmly. Any wavering on your expectations, whether it's apparent in the tone of your voice, accidentally blurting out, well, maybe, or I understand, I'll see what I can do, is like tapping a red flag to your forehead that says, I don't actually mean what I'm saying, so go ahead and walk all over me. People with big money energy speak with conviction, not just with squashing problems, but all the time. I didn't understand how important it was when I was a kid, but growing up, my dad always spoke with conviction. He owned his ideas, whether they were about work, a book he liked, or why my brother and I could not have a video game console. He stated his position so clearly and had facts to back it up, all when necessary. Conviction is how people speak on talk shows and on other media platforms. No one wants to watch an expert wavering like, glow-in-the-dark jumpsuits are definitely going to be the biggest fashion trend this season. But wait, maybe it will be burlap dresses or rainbow tank tops. I'm not really sure now that I really think about it. You got to own your thoughts and ideas and share them with other people. So even if you're wrong or you change your mind later, when you get new information, at least you have the courage and the confidence to have an opinion at all times. Here you go. Here you go. You got to keep some cards close to your chest. Okay? I've always taught my team that communication is everything. Selling or buying a house can be stressful and an emotional experience. Simply keeping a client up to date on where we are, on what we're doing on their behalf, why we're making certain decisions, or alerting them to where we are in the process can go a long way towards calming emotions and preventing me from getting a text message at 3 a.m. like, Ryan, OMG, is my asking price too low? Why is the asking price? My next door neighbor got like $75,000 more and his ceiling isn't painted with rainbows like mine is. Sad emoji, angry emoji, call me. Clear and honest communication can go a long way. And as I like to say, it's free. But part of being a successful business person is learning that while you are always honest, there are times when you must be selective about which details you share and which ones you hold back. The case of the world's most expensive blanket is the perfect example. Had I called my client who is very busy buying banks, sports teams, and a rare alpaca to say, hi, how's it going? Well, I have those contracts for your Hamptons Dream Mansion shortly, but just so you know, we're having a fight about $100 blanket. I'll let you know how it goes, okay? No. I could kiss that deal goodbye. That client and any referrals he would have given me forever, a big goodbye. And over a lifetime, that would add up to a substantial amount of lost income. So no, thank you. Sebastian is busy, important, and I'm not going to bother him with those details. People who are high earners know that you handle pesky problems, so you your most lucrative clients never have to worry about them. This requires building the ultimate level of trust. I understand that it can be hard to determine when to share and when to selectively communicate. I tell my team to map it out. When they're trying to figure out a piece of information that is essential, meaning they need to drop everything and call the client now, or if they can handle it on the client's behalf, the map checklist is this. Okay, this is so freaking good right here. M is for material. Is this material information? So in my world, that means knowing if there is a fact that would cause a buyer or a seller to make a different decision. Well, I know Sebastian would have gone bananas over the blanket scenario. It wasn't a material fact. The blanket did not directly impact the value of the house. If we found out the house was built over a bubbling pit of lava and could burst into flames at any time, that is material information. Or if the 2-floor home your client wants to buy should only have been 1 floor and on the 2nd floor was added illegally, well, again, that is material information. Or if the renovation was done without permits and was never signed off by the city, drop everything and call. You need to consider, is this information that you're currently dealing with directly related to the outcome? Is it crucial to the deal or project that you're working on? A material fact can be like life or death level information. If it is, then this is not the time to selectively communicate. If not, keep moving forward without getting your client involved. And then A, which is answer. Okay, and we're spelling map out, by the way. A, he's saying, do you have an answer to the problem? Can you envision how this situation will be resolved? I was confident that I could solve this issue with the unicorn fur blanket. I had dealt with countless bizarre requests over the years, and I knew how to tackle it. But wait, Ryan, what if I don't have an answer? We've all been there, right? But often that's false thinking. If you don't have an answer yet, how can you get one? Seek guidance from someone who has more experience than you. Ask how they would handle it. Or go to one of your smartest colleagues, talk it over and see what kind of answer you can come up with. For Sebastian's deal, I went back and forth with Jen Elise, my director of new development, who is a killer negotiator, playing out the scenario every which way to see how I should proceed. Very early in my career, I found a rental in a co-op building for a 24-year-old investment banker named Paul. In New York City, co-ops equal rules. It's a totally different process than the rental transactions I had been doing. Deals in co-op buildings involve a board application, tax returns, a personal interview, business references, a personal essay, SAT scores, blood tests, a talent competition, and finally a duel on the rooftop of the building. All right. I'm exaggerating, but only a little, okay? Ultimately, I didn't know what I was doing, and Paul was frustrated because he just wanted to move in. I was frozen, and I didn't know where I'd gone wrong. Why wouldn't anyone at the building return my calls? I was paralyzed and made the mistake of not seeking out an answer to the problem, hoping that it would just go away and Paul would be able to move in without any confrontation. I also didn't tell him that I was struggling. Though I was working on an answer, the situation solved itself when my client called me up to tell me I was the worst broker in the world and that he'd made a call and finished the deal himself. If you have an answer to a problem, pursue it. If you don't have an answer, find one before you pick up the phone. Always deliver a problem with the solution. Always deliver a problem with the solution. Otherwise, you're a quarterback throwing a pass to no one, and the ball will drop. I like that one. I like that one a lot. And then P goes into personality, okay? Who are you dealing with? Is this client someone who appreciates play-by-play information? We've all worked with people who want to know everything, okay? Even if something as minor as, I know you like to be filled in with on everything, and just FYI, during the open house today, a fly landed on your kitchen counter. I took care of it. None of the prospective buyers saw it, so all's well and all good, okay? If you want the jobs and clients who bring in huge dollars, you have to understand the wants and needs of the people who you are dealing with. And everyone is different. What does your gut tell you? Will your client want to know about the pesky fly, or will they think, why the hell are you bothering me with something so ridiculous while I'm in Pilates? Anticipate as much as you can the kind of reaction you'll get before deciding whether to selectively communicate. Know your audience. You're the one who is in control of every conversation and every situation. If my hair wasn't gray already, Operation Blanket Gate would have done the job. In the end, after establishing our no-go area and calmly telling the other broker that the only thing stopping their client from getting a $4 million deposit wired into their account that day was a blanket, they saw the light. From there on, the deal was pretty simple. Sebastian got his contracts without the ridiculous writer. And a few weeks later, he got to celebrate the purchase of his insane new beach home with a good scotch by the fireplace, wrapped up in his perfect $40 million throw. I texted him after the closing, asking when I could come to the house and stay for a night. He still hasn't texted me back. Ladies and gentlemen, that was The Art of Selective Communication. I freaking love how he detailed map, you know, like literally breaking it down. Like the communication is so important. Whether you are a coach and you have private clients, whether you are an agency and you deal with a lot of people, or whether you're building a team, this is so important and so extremely critical. If you are communicating with other people, you have to understand communication is an art. The guidelines to get you to your next step, you have to be clear. And this doesn't come overnight, you know? This is so good. I can't even like express how good this breakdown was. And I love how silly, you know, that whole blanket example is, because it's so true. It happens with any type of deal. You know, there's going to be all types of people in the world. So understanding your audience, understanding how they operate, how they are, their personality, like it's so important. So if you liked this chapter as much as I did, make sure to hit the like, make sure to share this with someone. Hope you got a good laugh. I know I did. And as always, keep shining, keep rocking. You're awesome. And cheers to big money energy in you. Talk to you soon.